Hey, good morning, students. Now, in today's video, we are going to start the next module, module number 2, and it is based on vacuum physics. What we are going to study in this module is importance of vacuum technology and various field applications of vacuum technology, kinetic theory of gases, impingement rate of molecules on surface, average velocity of gas and mean free path, gas transport properties. The most of these things we have already studied. The gas transport properties like thermal conductivity, viscosity, diffusion, etc. Then various ranges of vacuum and gas conductance and impedance of a vacuum line, pumping speed, flow of gases through aperture, elbows and tubes for viscous and molecular flow regime, pump down time and numericals. And the reference book that you can use for this module vacuum physics is Vacuum Technology by A. Roth. So let us now try to understand what is meant by vacuum. So what is a vacuum? Vacuum is generally referred to a given space filled with a gas at pressure below atmospheric pressure, whose density of molecule is less than 2.5 into 10 to the power 19 molecules per centimeter cube. This is called as vacuum, and vacuum is nothing but a low pressure area, right? So let us go for the next term, that is molecular density. And what does this molecular density mean? This molecular density is the average number of molecules per unit volume. So how many number of molecules are present in a particular volume, that's called as a molecular density. Mean free path, and mean free path is the average distance that molecule travels in a gas below two successive collision with the nearby molecules or other molecules of the gas. That's called as a mean free path. Next definition is a time to form the monolayers. Time to form the monolayer is the time required for a freshly cleaned surface to be covered by the layer of the gas of one molecule thickness. This is the time given by the ratio between the number of molecules required to form the compact monolayer, and the compact monolayer means its size must be about 8 into 10 to the power 14 molecules per centimeter square, and the molecular incident rate at which the molecules strikes the surface. So this is called as the time required to form the monolayer. What is meant by low vacuum and medium vacuum? So low vacuum and medium vacuum is a vacuum where the number of molecules of the gas phase is large compared to that of the covering surface, and because of this, in this range the pumping is directed towards a rarefied existing gas phase, and this vacuum range extends from the atmospheric pressure to about 10 to the power minus 2 torr. So 10 to the power minus 2 torr, that minus 2 is actually it's a power. I mean, there might be some typo error. So let's go for the next kind of a definition. Now, what is a high vacuum? High vacuum is a range of gas molecules in the system which are located principally on the surface, and mean free path is greater than or equal to pertinent dimensions of the enclosed gas. Therefore, pumping consists of the capturing the molecules leaving the surface and individually reaching the molecular flow of the pump. This is the range where particle in vacuum encloses without colliding with other particles, and thus this range extends from 10 to the power minus 3 to 10 to the power minus 7 torr. So that's called as a high vacuum, right? 10 to the power minus 3 to minus 7 torr. That's the range of high vacuum. Now, what is ultra high vacuum? The range of this ultra high vacuum is ranges from 10 to the power minus 7 to minus 16 torr. So this is greater than the earlier one, ultra high vacuum, and the time to form the monolayer is equal to or longer than the usual time for laboratory measurement. Thus, clean surface can be prepared and their properties can be determined before absorbed gas layer is formed, right? And these ultra high vacuums are generally used in the various labs. So this is the scientist Ibsen. In 1973, he calculated that the pressure of 10 to the power minus 33 torr can be achieved theoretically by cryopumping, right? And in case of a low vacuum and high vacuum, the mean free path is high or low. We can judge here. So in case of a low vacuum, the number of molecules in a particular chamber are too much high number of molecules are present in the low vacuum, and being high number of molecules are existing in a particular vessel or in a particular chamber, the mean free path will be less because they are colliding with each other randomly and frequently, and that's why the mean free path is less in case of low vacuum, right? If the in a particular vessel or chamber the vacuum is very high, that means the less number of molecules are available to collide with each other, and if the collision is less, that means the mean free path will be larger because there is a scarcity of molecules in the chamber to collide with each other, and therefore the mean free path will be large. This is as simple as to explain. And now let's move on the applications of vacuum technology. So low pressure vacuum technology is generally used to achieve the pressure. And what are its applications? Its applications are in holding, lifting, transport, so pneumatic, cleaners and filtering. These are the areas where we can use this low pressure, that means high vacuum technology. Low molecular density. So this is low molecular density is used to remove the active atmospheric constituents, and its applications are in lamps, meltings, sintering, packing, encapsulation, leak detection, etc. As well as the low molecular density is also used to remove the dissolved gases, and the application of this removing dissolved gases are in drying, dehydration, concentration, freeze drying, etc. Similarly, the low molecular density technique is also used to decrease the energy transfer rate, and the application of this technique is in thermal and electrical insulation, vacuum microbalance, and space simulation. Now the next is ultra high vacuum. So ultra high vacuums are generally used to avoid the collisions, and therefore it has applications in electron, CRT tubes, TV tubes, photocells, photomultiplier, accelerators, etc. Long monolayer formation time, and this is generally used to clean the surfaces, and therefore it has an applications in friction, adhesion, material testing, and for space. So these are the various applications of low vacuum, high vacuum, ultra high vacuum techniques, and this is just a brief information of vacuum technology or vacuum techniques, I can say. Hope you have understood this primary basic topics of vacuum techniques. Thank you.